So after 12 long years of exile, after facing everything from celestial weapons to demons, the Pandavas arrive at their final and maybe their most dangerous test. We're diving into their 13th year, the Agyatvas, a full year spent in disguise, where just one tiny slip-up could undo everything they'd worked for.
You gotta understand, the stakes could not have been higher. For one entire year, the five brothers and Draupadi had to live completely under the radar. If a single one of them was recognized before that year was up, the whole deal was off. They'd have to do all 12 years of exile all over again. It was this massive gamble for their freedom, a test of pure nerve against an enemy that was actively searching for them.
So where do you even hide when the whole world is basically looking for you? Well, you hide in plain sight. They chose the kingdom of Virata, and their plan was to get jobs in the court of King Virata, hoping to just blend in with all the servants. A pretty brilliant plan, but wow, was it risky.
And you have to appreciate the sheer irony of their disguises. I mean, think about it. Yudhishthira, the rightful emperor, becomes Kanka, a simple advisor on courtly games. The powerhouse Bhima, he becomes Ballava, the head cook. And maybe most striking of all, Arjuna, the greatest warrior on earth, takes on the identity of Brihannala, a dance teacher. Nakula and Sahadeva become a horsekeeper and a cowherd, while Queen Draupadi becomes Malini, a handmaiden to the queen. Royalty literally reduced to servitude, all just to survive.
And you know, for a while, the plan actually worked. They did their jobs, they kept their heads down, and the days started to tick by. But peace like that, it never lasts long, does it? And new danger popped up. Not from their enemies in Hastinapura, but from right there inside the palace walls.
And this danger? It had a name, Keechak. This guy was the commander of Virata's army, a man with incredible strength and an ego that was even bigger. He was used to taking whatever and whoever he wanted, and his eyes, they soon fell on the queen's new handmaiden, Malini. Keechak, totally obsessed with Draupadi's beauty, makes his move. When she turns him down, his pride is just shattered. So he goes straight to the king and basically delivers an ultimatum. He was so powerful he could threaten King Virata himself, holding the entire kingdom hostage just to get what he wanted.
And this is where things just explode. In the middle of the royal court, Keechak, drunk on power, corners Draupadi and attacks her, dragging her by her hair in front of everyone. And her husbands, disguised as Kanka, Ballava, and the others, are forced to just sit there and watch. Their fists are clenched, but their identities have trapped them in this cage. If they step in, they reveal themselves, and the whole thing is over.
But there's a limit, right? There's only so much a hero can take. That public humiliation was the absolute last straw. What happens next is a moment of just brutal, terrifying justice. The humble cook is about to disappear, and the furious warrior inside is about to wake up.
Fearing for her life, with Keechak and his brothers chasing her down, Draupadi runs to the one place she knows she'll find protection, the royal kitchen. She finds Bhima, still disguised as the cook Ballava, sleeping. Shaking him awake, she makes this desperate plea for help.
And in that one moment, something just snaps. Ballava the cook, gone. Bhima awakens, and they say his eyes were literally burning with fire. All that rage that had been bottled up for 12 long years was finally unleashed.
Keechak wasn't alone. Oh no. He had brought his 105 brothers with him to attack Draupadi, and one by one, right there in that kitchen, Bhima crushed every single one of them.
Then he turned to Keechak. The fight was short. It was brutal. Bhima left behind a mangled corpse that served as a chilling message, a message that would echo all the way back to Hastinapura. The Pandavas were alive, and their power hadn't faded. It had grown.
Okay, so as the dust settles from Keechak's death, that year of exile is getting really close to the end. The story now shifts from that dark, bloody vengeance to a moment of pure heroic triumph. And it all centers around the most unlikely person you could imagine, Brihannala, the dancer.
So with Keechak dead, Virata is suddenly vulnerable. A neighboring king sees his chance and invades. King Virata's army is getting hammered. They're on the brink of a total defeat, and the whole kingdom is about to fall.
It's at this desperate moment that Brihannala steps forward and offers to fight. The king just laughs. I mean, what's a dance teacher gonna do? But then, the transformation happens. Brihannala gets on a chariot, not as a dancer, but as Arjuna, revealing his true self for the first time in a year.
What happens next is just legendary.
Arjuna doesn't just fight, he puts on a show. He plays divine music on his bowstring and sounds his mighty conch, and the sound alone sends terror through the enemy army. And then he proceeds to single-handedly defeat the entire invading army. He saves the whole kingdom.
And you better believe this news travels fast. This spectacular public display of power confirms the Kauravas' absolute worst fears. Duryodhana, when he hears about this impossible victory by a lone warrior, he knows instantly the Pandavas are back, and they are more powerful than ever before.
So, the year is finally complete. The trials of the Agyatvas are officially over. The Pandavas have survived, they have triumphed, and now they can finally look towards the future and towards the kingdom that was stolen from them.
The year of hiding is successfully done. The Pandavas reveal their true identities to a totally stunned and incredibly grateful King Virata. With their vow fulfilled, they are now free to demand their kingdom back, and well, the stage is now set for the Great War.
You see, this year of living dangerously did so much more than just fulfill a promise. It forged them. The slaying of Keechak was proof that injustice would be met with terrifying force. Arjuna's battle was a sneak peek of the victory that was to come. It proved they weren't just kings fighting for a throne. They were instruments of destiny.
But hold on. Before the swords are drawn, before the great armies clash, there is one last chance for peace. One final, desperate attempt at diplomacy. Which brings up a critical question. Who would you even send on an impossible mission like that to try and stop a catastrophic war?
And that's exactly where we're going to pick things up next time. We'll explore the mission of Krishna as the final peace envoy to the court of the Kauravas, an effort that could have saved millions of lives, but instead it sealed their fate. You are not going to want to miss it.